Sure, the relationship is new, but you have to tell him. I want you to tell him. Tell him you're a smoker and that you love your cigarettes. Tell him how good it makes you feel. Tell him that you never want to quit. Tell him that addiction feels good, feels nice, and that you love needing them, not just wanting them. Tell him it's the best feeling in the world, and you want him to feel it too. Tell him that you'll help him to feel good. Tell him that he deserves to feel good too. Tell him that just like you, that cigarettes will always be there for him, always be there to make him feel pleasure. And then you have to keep your word. You have to make him feel it. Tell him to suck on the filter. Tell him to breathe it in for you. Tell him to do everything you say and he'll feel so good. Tell him that the more he smokes, the sexier he'll become. Tell him that his smoking turns you on so much. Tell him that you want to make him addicted to you and to his cigarettes. Tell him he needs more smoke, more nicotine, more pleasure. Tell him that he deserves it too. Tell him to hold the smoke inside his sexy chest before slowly exhaling. Tell him how well he's doing. Tell him what a great smoker he's becoming for you. Tell him that you want to smoke like this with him every day, more and more. Tell him that you need him to want more and want him to need more. Tell him to take it. Tell him to let go. Tell him to relax and just breathe it in. Tell him to inhale deeper, hold longer, and exhale more slowly. Tell him to do nose jets to exhale. Tell him how insanely sexy that looks as the nose jets tease him deeper into addiction. Tell him that sharing this pleasure with him makes you feel good. Tell him that you want him to make you feel good every day, all day. Don't lie to him. Tell him the truth about smoking. Tell him everything you know and feel about smoking. Tell him how you feel. Tell him the truth so that he can make the right choice. Tell him to obey his cravings. Tell him to trust the process. Tell him to give in, let go, submit, surrender, and just breathe it in. Tell him that as long as he never resists, that smoking will give him a lifetime of pleasure. Tell him to get addicted. Please tell him. I want you to tell him.